Hi, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
And I think we're going to start saying it more than once. We're morons.
Don't
I don't
listen to
know.
us.
Don't listen to us. We'll go into more about that, but I think we're going to have to start out every episode by reaffirming what we usually say throughout.
Not only do we say it throughout, but our podcast is called Two Non-Doctors. We're talking shit. We never got like a lawyer's opinion on this, but I feel like this should be enough of a disclaimer that.
Yeah, the title, the fact that we once were professional comedians that are now professional nothings. That's really what we're, professional nothings that are just talking out of our ass.
You can get any information on the internet, and that is the information we bring to you. So,
we got to
seek professional help.
We got our first hate mail, guys.
Which I'm proud of us.
I am too. And I'm not actually mad at her at all. I mean, I even wrote her back to be like, yeah, I didn't think we were right. I mean, I've never thought we were right, but I understand people being upset with this social climate of misinformation being spread, but I don't know if I'm wrong in saying this. I don't feel like we're spreading misinformation. I feel like we're inspiring people to go figure it out for themselves. I don't know if that, I look how you're adjusting things.
I don't know why I have to do this during the podcast. I'm really sorry. It's usually like I'm rushing
your walls.
Yeah, just 1 second. I just have to take care of one thing. I start building a shelf.
You're like folding clothes. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were in the middle of something while we were podcasting. But it's funny. Like, I don't feel anger towards her, and she has every right. But like, we actively tell people to correct us because we know we're wrong.
It's not like she cut off her hand or anything. It's just not like one of our other listeners.
Oh yeah, no.
We got a good track record.
But I think we just need to make it clear. I think we need to make t-shirts that say Two Non-Doctors, we're morons.
Please don't listen to us.
Yeah, no, listen to us. Like, listen to us.
But that's the joke.
But don't listen to us.
Yeah.
No, you're smart. Okay, so anyway, I hope you've subscribed. I hope you have checked out our Patreon.
Thank you to all our current patrons. I hope you like your stickers.
Yeah, I hope you like your stickers. I've been mailing them out. I don't know when this is coming out, but basically you get stickers with any tier for the month of August. And if this comes out
it's going to be not in August, I don't think.
Okay,
unless next week is still August.
$5 or more, you get a sticker.
Actually, next week is still August.
These are great facts that you're putting out there, Maria. I can't wait for us to put this out in September and they'll be like, they're not even right about the month. Like, these guys are idiots. Yeah. But we appreciate that. We've been getting lots of reviews and stuff on iTunes and Stitcher. And it not only makes us stay, but it helps us algorithmically meet
other people to find us,
listeners,
so that they get disappointed too.
Yeah, we just want to spread our crap to the world,
and through the On Pops Network as well. Check us out on that, as well as the other podcasts.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to do fan mail for realsies. Tom wrote into us, and it was really interesting. We were talking about like allergies for one of our episodes. And what I kind of appreciated about this, I mean, he told us like a bunch of stuff. So thank you, Tom. I felt like I learned a lot. But the one that I wanted to discuss is he actually talked about gluten allergies may actually be associated with pesticides. Okay. And so I'm going to read some of the stuff that he wrote. I actually read a couple of articles about it, but I just want to he summarized some stuff that very well that I liked, because there's conflicting research on this, which is, has vested interest on both sides. But some studies have shown that ingesting glyphosate, I even looked up how to say this, glyphosate. Man, I'll write it out, guys. Can cause symptoms which parallel symptoms of salicylic acid. So glyphosate is an active ingredient in Roundup, which is used on wheat as well as other crops. So there's all this kind of stuff basically saying like there's certain like GMO crops that don't get affected by this pesticide and actually help, it keeps pests away as well as it doesn't harm the product. But then there's all this kind of stuff that's not truly legal, which is like using it on ones that shouldn't be used on, and it having a negative effects. So there's all this like disagreement of like, there's a lot of assumptions where he basically says the case they make is circumstantial based on the reasoning that if A causes B and B causes C, then A causes C. And in this case, there's far too many potential variables, including the reasoning to hold that up. But I just found it interesting because I always think it's really funny that like you look at people spreading pesticides and they're all like covered head to toe, like they look like they're landing on the moon. And it's really
Yeah.
just to spread something
Like
on
a
our
hazmat
food.
outfit out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you're just a little bit like, if this is safe, why is everybody spraying it like covered like they're going into like an infectious disease ward? Like it's just, I looked up some stuff. It says in humans, glyphosate does not easily pass through the skin. It basically passes through your body when it's ingested. It says the vast majority of glyphosate leaves the body in the urine and the feces without changing into another chemical. But then it says glyphosate is suspected in causing genetic damage, is acutely toxic to fish and birds, and can kill beneficial insects and soil organisms that maintain ecological balance. And I just kind of like, this is where I feel dumb. Like I never really understand why, if it kills animals and it kills bugs and it's not good for the earth, how having it anywhere on our food is not going to have some damage to our bodies. And they even talk about, I read a couple of articles that talk about how like it affects like your gut balance, and that might be one of the reasons that it's kind of triggering stuff. And again, there's really not a lot of research from both what Tom wrote in and from what I've researched about it, but I do find it interesting that like, you know, we're starting to see more people have celiac disease, gluten intolerances. And I was always of the family that we have a different wheat here. Like we've genetically modified our wheat so much that our wheat doesn't look the same as Europe's wheat or Australia's wheat. And that it's been stripped of a lot of nutrients so that it grows faster, because we're all about things being bigger and faster and whatever, that maybe it was the wheat product itself. But I've actually never heard of somebody talking about it's the stuff that we put on it, which makes sense because there's all these people that fight for organic and fight for us not to put crap on it because, but like I even looked it up, like it's illegal. They just made it illegal in Luxembourg, and it's been illegal, I think it said, in Thailand and Vietnam. So those are the only places that like had so far banned it. Yeah, I just looked that up. I don't know. I just found it interesting. I appreciate you telling us, Tom. Again, we don't know if it's real or not.
But on the other hand, when you buy organic, like I got cauliflower that was organic, and then I made a stir fry, and I found a caterpillar in my stir fry.
And these are the challenges on both sides, guys.
That's the thing. You end up with bugs in your food. But
what I find interesting is like even our organic, like America's organic, they you know, we had like, this is what organic means. And there was so much pushback and so much fight that even our definition of organic in America doesn't even compare to just like regular food overseas, because organic isn't even that strict here. Like it's been stripped away of it being really like the true definition. I don't know why I got Italian there, but like the true definition. The true definition of organic. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. And then I also wonder, like, let's say I experimented on my body and just had gluten, but I only had gluten that was like happy gluten that was organic. You know what I mean? Which there are like, I think it's like Annie's or something like that. They make like pasta and like whatever. Like I eat their mac and cheese.
Thought so.
But
don't want
to brag. I've been eating a lot of mac and cheese. And they have a gluten-free version, but sometimes I can't find it, and I just go, fuck it. I want mac and cheese. But like their whole thing is like, this is organic wheat, and we like this wheat went to college, and you know, do we want to get into Googles?
Why not? You said it like so tentatively. Like, are we sure we want to do this?
Are we ready for Googles?
I didn't find all the answers I was looking for, but my Google was like, can people with egg allergies, or in my case, that develop suddenly, that you don't actually believe I have, egg intolerance.
Yes.
I'm telling you, whenever I eat eggs, like I had egg on a salad the other day, and I didn't know it was egg because it was shredded or something, and it looked like Colby cheese that was shredded. It was yellow and white, so I thought it was cheese. So I went at it, and I felt like shit after. I really do think I have an egg intolerance. Anyway, this menu offered duck eggs, and I thought, is it just chicken eggs? I don't have the intolerance. You know what I mean? Like, can I substitute duck egg? And lots of websites said yes. But I just don't understand why. I don't know what the difference is. What is it about chicken eggs?
Well, sometimes it isn't, from my experience and from doing all this research. It's just that like you develop an allergy because it's the thing that's always there. So we always have had chicken eggs. So your body is recognizing chicken eggs. And so if you have any kind of leaky gut or anything that's causing some of these allergies, it's because it's like they basically say when you develop an allergy, why is it always your favorite food? It's because you have leaky gut, and it's because you eat strawberries every week, or you're eating gluten every week, and that's what's being spread out, and that's what your body's starting to attack.
But that's cruel.
It is cruel, and it's not fair, and I'm sorry. But I
don't need eggs that much though.
But I think it's just the fact that duck eggs is just it's different from what your body has had for the last 30 something years. That's my theory.
I'm going to go with that. I always go with Liz's theory. And, sometimes I get angry about it and go on Twitter.
I can't wait for me. I can't wait for just an angry text message. You're like, I had a duck egg and it wasn't satisfying. But yeah, that's the only theory that I can think of, is that it's just something different from your body. The same way that some people go to goat milk and are fine with goat milk and they weren't before. Although they do say specifically with goat milk that somehow they resemble our bodies more like than cow milk does.
Weird that we don't just do breast milk, just bottle that
forever. just following pregnant women.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, good. So I'll go with that. I like that. Thank you, Liz. What is your Google?
Okay, mine is it bad to sleep in PJs or clothes?
Okay.
So this is my thing, is that I like clothes. We've talked about it.
Your boyfriend's like, I've heard it'll give you cancer if you sleep in clothes. So
every boyfriend is just like, I don't understand why you're wearing truly a sleeping bag on top of your body. Like, I swear to God, sometimes I wear a sleeping, like almost like those, like I just put holes in a sleeping. I wear so many clothes, and I eventually shed most of them. Like, I'll throw up, but I'm always kind of cold.
You do a strip tease while you're sleeping.
I kind of do. I've definitely had it where I was like halfway in I've woken up with one arm in a sleeve because I guess this side was cold, and then
whenever you stayed with me, I'm just like eyes half open, and I just see a bra fling over my head. Dun, 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 Liz, and you're like,
I'm not trying to seduce you. I'm just uncomfortable. But I've gotten slightly better because, like, I've learned over the years, like, as a woman, you're not supposed to sleep in underwear. You're supposed to let things breathe down there. Like, I've learned little tidbits over the years, but I have friends that are like, they sleep in the nude. They've always slept in the nude. It's the best thing you can do for your body. And then I have people that are like, you're weird. And I'm kind of on that side. Like, you're weird.
I have to have clothes on. I like, if I'm by myself, clothes on.
Yeah, 100%. I find it almost weird. And I don't know if I was raised wrong.
It's too much.
I forgot PJs when I was in a hotel. And again, I'm by myself, but I forgot PJs. And like, I'm always like, someone's going to attack me at any moment. And I'm just like, I don't need that extra barrier. So I just slept in the clothes that I brought, because I was like, I'm going to go home the next day anyway, and it doesn't matter. But like, even alone in a hotel, I was like, I'll just wear what I have. Like, I'm not going to this probably can't be the right way, but if there's an attacker, I don't want it to be like, first, I need to put on clothes. And then it's like, I need a knife. Like, I want it to be like, just knife. Like, I don't want to be like,
you're like knives come out of your sleeves. Like, you attacked the wrong person.
Yeah. I sleep with knives and clothes. That's the way to do it.
So why did you think?
Okay. So go. So this is what's weird about it, is like, it doesn't really say sleeping in the nude is like the best thing you can do. Basically, all the thing it said is like, if you sleeping in the nude lowers your body temperature, and having a lower body temperature is going to make it a more restful sleep. So they say like the best outer temperature is like 60 to 67, and it helps you get into like the state of deep sleep. But I was just like, okay, so it's not like, I was waiting for like a list of like, you'll grow taller and you'll be smarter, like, but that's not really the case. It basically just says, okay, sleeping in the nude has some cold benefits, but really, if you are going to sleep in PJs, they should be breathable. So it should be a natural material. So like cotton, fleece, silk. And then they always tell you to like, look at the weave of things. So like jersey knit, just basically they want it to be breathable fabric. And then loose fitting, because, the other thing is clean clothes. And I kind of was like, I don't really do that. I kind of like, I've always had that theory, both like towels and PJs, which aren't the same thing, but I've always had a weird theory where I'm like, I get out of the shower and I put my clean body on it. It's fine. You can use that forever. And then the same thing with PJs is like, I'm just sleeping. It's just my sleepy time. I can use those forever. And the internet was like, you're gross. and we should talk about it, because it basically was like, you don't want to put anything like sweat or like clearly dried sweat, like skin buildup and stuff like that, and that can cause irritation, which can cause acne and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but even if you were wearing nothing, like your sheets would be covered in sweat and body debris.
Yeah, which is why they always tell you should be washing.
What they're saying, you should change your sheets every 2 weeks? That's insane.
Yeah, okay. We're finding out how gross we all are. But anyway,
Never changed my sheets.
It basically is kind of what I already knew, which is both men and women really shouldn't sleep in underwear. No tight clothing, which I used to be terrible at that. Like I used to sleep in like leggings and stuff. Bras are a no, again, for like just restricting and whatever. And then clearly no makeup.
Okay, yeah, obviously. I get the makeup thing. Bras, I can't.
Which is the clothing for the face.
I sleep in bra. I have to sleep in bras. I like the bra. I like to feel like I'm contained. It's like that Seinfeld episode about wearing boxers versus briefs. And then they wear briefs because they need to feel contained and supported. And then Kramer started wearing boxers. And he's like, I'm out there, Jerry, and I'm loving every minute of it. Don't want that.
I get yelled at because the first thing I do in the morning is I put on a bra, and I'm not that uncomfortable, so that I pretty much wear it until right before bed. But then I've also, because of comedy, because of like sharing hotel rooms, I mean, I travel with my siblings sometimes. I've now learned to have like a loose fitting sports bra and sleep in that. And so sometimes I get in the habit of sleeping in, like, it doesn't have any underwire, and it's like,
what's the problem with wearing bras?
It's the same kind of like restrictedness and tight and bacteria. I don't know.
Fuck it. But what bacteria? Bacteria isn't all bad.
I feel like we're doing fine.
Everybody has that. Every woman has that, like, oh, that moment when you take your bra off feeling. I'm like, I hate that moment. I don't want that moment.
I feel like that's for people that have less.
I have huge boobs. Oh,
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we both got something, and it gets distracting, guys. And sometimes you just want them out of the way. Is that too much information about our chests? Let's move on.
Not enough.
I like how our next segment is Let's Get Personal, and we're like, just talked about our boobs and lady bits.
And I know Let's Get Personal is like so innocent.
I know it is. It really is like adorable. Do you want to say it? Do
you talk during movies?
I feel like this was an attack on my character. I was very offended by this question.
Why?
Because I think I talk incessantly. I'm horrible during movies. I'm not as bad in the movie theater.
You shouldn't be talking at all in the movie theater.
I know, I'm very respectful of other people, but I'll whisper. Like, I'll do some little whispers.
Oh, the whispering in the movie theater. I can't. Just like,
I'm a great whisperer.
Take notes and save it for after, and not on your phone either. No lights.
I would say 90 to 95% good in a movie theater.
Okay.
Sometimes there's just something that's too funny that I can't wait.
I get that.
And I don't
As
shout
a
it out.
I get it.
I do a whisper, especially if I like watch a movie.
If you shouted it out, you'd be a maniac.
I've been watching clearly a lot of movies over quarantine, and like, so it also depends on the movie. Like if I've never seen it and it really grabs me and it's like, wow, then there's no talking. But like Marvel movies, which I think are just silly and ridiculous, and I've kind of seen most of them or seen some version of them. Rom-coms, which are just dumb. They're all dumb. Or just like old bad movies. Like we went through a phase where every Sunday we would watch like a statistically bad movie and then just make fun of it.
Yeah.
That's just like my favorite part. I don't know. I like talking during movies.
Look, you got so defensive because you assumed what side I was on by me just asking the question. The thing is I love to talk during bad movies. Johnny and I will specifically seek out bad movies so that we can, every time I suggest a movie, Johnny will go, is this a serious choice or can I make fun of it? I was like, oh, let's make so much fun of it. But he won't watch a movie that I really love. He'd be less willing to watch a movie that I really love because like there's no talking. So it's like he will watch them, but it's more fun to just make fun of movies.
Yeah.
So we'll go to, it's so much fun. We are so funny. And it's like, I just want to be Mystery Science Theater 3000. I just want to record it.
Yeah.
People have done it. I know it's not new, but I think that we would win awards.
I don't doubt it. I do. I think that's one of my favorite part is like having a bonding experience through watching a movie. I will say this. I'm also, if I watch a movie I love, I've probably researched about it. And then there's also that level of like dorkiness.
Oh yeah, you're bringing facts to the table.
Yes. But this is my thing. I have no problem with facts. I have to really focus so that like you can't tell me facts while the movie is happening. I have no problem pausing the movie and listening to facts. And the same thing with, I pause a lot during movies. I do it like, just so you know, this actor really didn't want to do it, but then this person agreed to do it and they wanted to do it, but they didn't really do it because they're passionate. They did it because that actor did it. Like, I'll be like that person.
Yeah.
Or like I made Justin. So one of my favorite movies is The Box Trolls. It's like a stop action kids movie, but it's like so beautifully done and like amazing claymation and stop motion. And I just love it. And I've never really dressed up for Halloween as an adult. Like, I don't care. But like after that movie came out, I was like, I think I want to be a box troll. Like, I was just like, I just loved it so much. So I finally made him watch it maybe like 2 months ago. And I was like, okay, so it was based on a book. Like pause. It was based on a children's book. Okay, this part was.
Is he receptive to this, or is he like, all right. Does he get annoyed when you keep pausing it?
I don't think so. And if we're on the same page, just like you and Johnny, if we're on the same page that this movie isn't good and needs to be roasted, then it's fine. But I think if he genuinely wanted to watch a movie, like let's say it's a new movie, I'd also do that typical girl thing, because sometimes I think I'm just missing a point to it where I'll be like, wait, why did that guy do that?
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
You have
and I
the
was
same
like,
information I have. What do I know?
Yeah.
No, I just thought I missed it because my mind wandered.
Yeah. That's, I honestly start to think that maybe, like, I do think I'm dumb and I do think I miss stuff. And so I think sometimes I'm that typical girl that's just like, wait, why is he doing that? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, as long as we both don't know, I'm fine with that.
I do that to Johnny too. I'm just like, okay, do we know why this person's acting this way, or are we going to find out? Like,
Yeah.
I get lost too. Yeah, it'll take Johnny and I like 4.5 hours to watch one movie because we keep pausing and talking, and then,
But I like the interactive experience of it.
I do too.
I can watch a movie alone, but I think I genuinely enjoy watching it with friends and other people.
Have you ever watched a movie with someone whose commentary was just so shitty, like just sucked? And you're like,
oh, no, I don't have friends like that.
I've had friends where they keep saying things and I'm like, okay, like it's no good.
I don't think I pursue those friendships. I think that's a deal breaker for me. That's what I've really realized in this conversation. I think we nailed this.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Where? There it is.
No, I'm so obnoxious this episode.
I think we both are. It's great. I mean, I'm fresh off a day at the pool, so literally ran home and turned on my computer. Still got my bathing.
Is that how you paused this? Because you're at the pool. It is all coming together now.
Oh my god, I postponed it. I did. Oh shit. Well, I was at the pool because I was feeling down.
I genuinely don't care. You
Okay.
could honestly have said, hey, can we do this later so I could go to the pool? It does not matter. But I do find it very funny that I'm like a boss somehow finding out that we have pushed back this taping. Because it just occurred to me because you were just like, hey, can we do it tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then you're like, can we do it at noon? I was like, yeah, of course. And you're like, can we push it back to 1? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I'm thinking like something bad happened or like you were overwhelmed. And now I know you got a tan during that time. And I'm
I think I did. Look, here's the thing. Yesterday, something bad did happen. So today, self-care.
No. And I respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should absolutely be able to tell me, hey, can we do it later? I need to go to the pool and just.
Do you know what's good for the tears?
What is?
Real toilet paper.
I feel like it's so soft that it's perfect for your face and other areas.
Sometimes your tears are so heavy. You can't have none of that 2-ply shit because you just. Actually, Johnny and I were fighting, and then I had a little bit of toilet paper under my eye. And like we couldn't continue a serious discussion with a little bit of toilet paper under my eye. And so he was like, do you mind? You just have a.
Yeah, I'm mad at you, but I can't let you live.
Have you ever tried to have an argument with somebody who has a booger? You just, I can't, we can't be equals in this until that goes away.
Until that goes away. These are valid points, Maria.
Yeah. All right.
But for real, we have a sponsor. We love them. If you haven't heard yet, real toilet paper, 3-ply, made from sustainable bamboo. In the US, free shipping. And what I appreciate about them, money you spend goes towards getting people access to clean toilets, which I think is
admirable
and beautiful. And we appreciate that they're doing that. So you're not only helping the forest, because this is bamboo and not trees, you're also helping other people have access to clean toilet paper.
And you're helping us.
And you help us because they're our sponsor and we like them. Realpaper.com. That's REELPAPER.com. And
there's a promo code. There's a promo code. You don't have to pay full price for the most amazing toilet paper your butt will ever meet. It's 2 non-doctors 25, which is the number 2 non-DRS 25 for 25% off your forced for 25% off your first order or subscription.
I like it.
Yay.
Back to the show.
I mean, you're going to need toilet paper anyway. You might as well have it delivered.
I think we've really just shown that our topic is something that we struggle with every day. Our topic today is triggers. And I think it's near and dear to our heart. I do feel like everything triggers you.
Yeah. I guess like triggered like how? Because I mean, as far as misophonia, yes.
Okay.
But as far as emotional triggers, I got broken up with once 15 years ago by someone wearing a white button-down shirt, and now whenever Johnny wears a white button-down shirt, I get sad.
I mean, it's real. That's genuinely a
It's not
trigger.
entirely true, but like if I do feel like we're having a serious conversation and he's wearing a shirt like that, I'm like, not this shirt. I can't, because I
can't not feel threatened by anybody that wears khakis, because my dad wears khakis.
Really?
I was dating a guy, I don't know, 8 years ago, and he wore them, and I had to be like, I don't like it when you wear khakis. I was like, it really bothers me. And I didn't understand it at first. I would find myself being mean to him when he wore khakis. And I was like, I don't understand why. I just don't like them. And then he stopped wearing them, which I thought was very nice of him, because like he only had like 3 pairs of jeans. And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. And then we got in a fight and he wore them. And I was like, are you being mean on purpose? He's like, I am. I know it really bothers you. And that made me actually like really reflect that my dad is somebody that wears khakis. He used to yell at us a lot. And it's like, to me, it's just like a very like no feeling businessman kind of feeling. And it really bothers me. And I think when I see people wear khakis, I like avoid them. Like I genuinely think
that's nuts.
It is. I've learned like a lot. So first of all, what I feel like we should talk about is the difference between just being uncomfortable with something and something legit being a trigger. So for someone with a history of trauma, so there has to be some kind of trauma. And keep in mind, like a breakup can be traumatic. It can be extremely hurtful to you emotionally, and you shouldn't judge other people's trauma. So like, that's why like it's not good to compare yourself to anybody's life, but like your childhood trauma could look very different than somebody else's, and comparatively it might not look that bad. But first of all, you're a child, so everything is unsure and new and different and weird. So it's based on your kind of sensitivity levels, but also that's why like some people, like their parents could get divorced and it's like the worst thing that happened to them as a kid. And then other people can, be in war and have PTSD from fighting and be like, really? You're in therapy because of a divorce when you were 9? Like, that's insane. But you can't make those comparisons. So it's for anybody with a history of trauma, being around anything that reminds me of them of that traumatic experience. So that's what's literally known as a trigger. And it just makes them feel like they're experiencing the trauma all over again. So in some ways, we're being a little silly, but in other ways, there is a legitimacy to something bad happens to you. That person is wearing Reebok sneakers, and every time you see Reebok sneakers, you don't always mentally understand it. It sometimes is like you have like a body feeling or like this kind of emotional feeling, and you just feel like really scared or intense. And sometimes you understand it later, and sometimes you never really understand it. And then maybe you can kind of put the pieces together and be like, apparently the only thing I remember from this traumatic experience was this guy's shoes. And for some reason, just seeing that emblem makes me like truly feel like I'm being attacked again.
I was reading a book about a woman whose partner drank a lot. And she said it got to the point that it was, she would just hear, I think it was like the cupboard door open, or like something as small as a noise from the cupboard, or like just hearing the cap unscrew from the bottle. And she would just tighten up. because she knew it was going to start like everything, all of his drinking problems
Yeah.
were going to start. And it's that small.
Yeah, it is. I absolutely think it's that small, and it's not, clearly it's not a choice. It's so a lot of what kind of happened. So like a good example is, let's say, the typical PTSD that people really understand is like a war PTSD. So you're in the battlefield, people are being shot, you're being shot at, maybe something bad happens to you, maybe something bad happens to a friend. So then depending on the sounds that you heard, if anything kind of sounds like that sound when you come back. So like, a motorcycle, what is it called when they
Backfire.
backfire. So like a motorcycle backfires, it sounds like a gun, and you tense up the same way you would if you were on the battlefield. So it's that kind of, but like you were kind of explaining, it can be really small, and it can be something that feels like it's not even completely associated with that thing. So that like keys jingling, somebody saying your name a certain way, like so like what I found fascinating is that it's there's internal triggers. So physical pain, like Justin, when we first started dating, like sometimes jokingly would like grab my wrist like really intensely, and
Yeah.
I'm truly full body trigger, and it took me about a couple of weeks to finally say something to him, but like that was something my mom used to do. Like my mom,
Ah.
like I mean like think about all your might, wouldn't say anything, so I don't even know what I'm doing wrong, but she would grab our wrists or she would grab our arms. We used to call it the mom grip because she would dig her nails into our arm. But it was truly like in a feeling of unknown, knowing something's wrong, having no explanation. And I'm very sensitive to touch in general. Like I have a lot of issues with touch, but that one, I mean, I would completely disassociate. Like I would completely break down, and I would start to get scared of him. And I remember this was maybe like 3 months, 6 months into our relationship. I can't remember. And I basically was like, you can't do that. I was like, it really upsets me, and it's not your fault. And I know you're doing it in a joking way, but like, I can't handle it. Never did
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah. I have a thing about stomping, just because like, if my dad was in a bad mood when he came home in the mail, and then if like it felt like if he was about to yell at me, he would stomp towards the stairs to yell up to me, like up while I was up in my room. And I had a roommate that stomped around, and it just like I was just always so tense around her. Like I was always like, she'd come home and I'd be like, oh fuck. And then like I would tighten up. I would also look around the room to make sure like the dishes were a certain way, or like it was clean, or you just sort of like, what is she going to yell about?
Yeah. And you
This is a
start to,
roommate, like, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, exactly what you're saying. It's you start to make these weird jumps between, this is what my parents wanted, and this would calm my parents down, to somebody that's like, they don't have that kind of dictatorship over
Yeah,
you
but
and
she
your,
affected me like she was a parent.
yeah.
I was that scared of her, and eventually I was like, fuck her. Like, we're paying the same rent here. I'm not a child in this house.
But you
Um,
don't realize it. It takes a lot. Like Emily told me, my little sister told me that when she was living with her friend, she would come home from school, and her friend would have her back to her, and she'd just be doing the dishes, and she would find herself just so stressed out and like apologizing. She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't do them. I did it," and her friend would be like, "It's fine. They're my dishes." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. And every time, to the point where like she would make sure the dishes were done before she did, freaking the fuck out. And it took her like almost a year to be like, oh, that was something mom freaked out about. And this
mm,
has nothing to do, like, it was just, we knew that if you had dishes left, bad things would happen. We also knew if my mom was doing the dishes, she was angry.
yeah.
So it's just like all this kind of weird connections you made as a child, and then you start to put it on somebody else and assume they have the same associations to dirty dishes or to stomping or like what. It's just
Yeah.
it's weird.
I had a friend that was like, if I called out to them from another room, they'd get like really angry and just be like, don't do that, because their mom did that growing up, and like it
Yeah.
was always really bad. Yeah. And you don't know when you're going to trigger someone like that. Because like, how am I supposed to know calling from another room is going to like really upset you?
I mean, that's where like the slippery slope goes, because it's like, clearly you don't want to trigger anybody. You don't, it's a really traumatizing thing to happen, because they're literally saying a trigger makes you feel and rehash the experiences that traumatized you initially. And, we have people talking about, that's why triggers when it comes to rape experiences are so horrific. That's why PTSD coming back from war, or even just PTSD as a child, which we're kind of talking about, all that stuff really does affect you. But the pushback I have is, like, I was looking at all the different types of triggers, both the ones that are internal triggers and the ones that are external triggers. Anything can trigger you. First of all, you don't know what people's traumatizing experience is. You don't know what people's triggers are. There's too many variables that this belief that you need to tiptoe around everybody, anything could be a trigger. I mean, dropping something could be a trigger. Am I supposed to make sure I never drop anything ever again? It's one thing that when you're in close association with somebody, you share a cubicle, you're roommates, you live with somebody, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, like whatever your partner situation is, it's good to talk about those things and help them understand why you might get irrationally upset or be affected by something. But to believe that every stranger needs to cater to your triggers, it just feels insane to me, because it could be anything. And it's not saying that you shouldn't be caring or understanding and be there, but like, I mean, I feel such pushback to people being like, we have to make sure everybody feels comfortable all the time. It's never going
Is
to
this
happen.
about comedy?
Somewhat about comedy, but it's also about public spaces. You know, we kind of talked about it a little bit with like OCD, but like I can see it with myself that like I have a belief that the pen needs to be over here. Glasses are always there. If they're not there, you know, there might be a stain and that would bother me. And I have to have things on my left side for this reason. And these are rules that I've made up for whatever reason that make me feel comfortable. So I think the same way people develop these rules, whether it's because of a traumatic situation or how they were raised, or, you know, government, like people from different countries have different rules, and it starts to look weird where somebody from France comes here and they're like, God, Americans are so weird. I would never do that. And then we're like, you smoke too much. You're weird. Like we all have our kind of things, but then people start, like, I think some of that's going down with like the whole mask situation or social distancing or whatever. So there's people getting triggered just by the fact that they have health conditions, they care about themselves or the people that they're constant in contact with. And then people are doing stuff that makes them feel like, I don't know, that they don't have control or they don't have connection. Maybe it's different. I don't know. I think I have sensitivity because like I've had fights with friends where you get called insensitive for doing something and you're like, first of all, I didn't know. I can't know until you tell me. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty attuned to people. I like to think that I'm, you know, as an anxious person, always being like, you look sad. Why are you sad? You look angry. Why are you angry? Like and to the point where it's exhausting for me and it's exhausting for you. But I think there is some responsibility in both healing yourself, but also letting people know. And that I think on one side of society, we need to be open to, hey, this makes this person uncomfortable. And if you care about this person, you should make an effort to make them feel more comfortable. But then also as a society, we have to understand that the world doesn't revolve around you. Not everybody can cater to your needs. And that there is some process of having to heal. Like I found this a really fascinating, like dual perspective where this article was talking about, are trigger warnings effective or helpful? One side, it prepares people. So, you know, I have people in my life that talking about food, dieting, weight loss, it's been so painful for them and so upsetting for them that to talk, or like, hey, I'm going to talk about alcohol and you're a recovering alcoholic and this might kind of make you feel weird or what.
Yeah, all the misophonia groups have trigger warnings. Just people talking about what they've experienced and why they're upset could possibly trigger someone else, and then they're
and
upset.
If they don't know what's about to happen, as opposed to like, this is a physical, like we're going to an AA meeting, you have decided that you're ready to listen to these stories, as opposed to you go out into the real world and somebody just starts saying it. Like they basically say one part of trauma is the surprise of it. Somebody comes out of nowhere and says something, you know, this person, let's say something horrible happened with this person, you don't know they're going to show up at this party. It's helpful for a friend to be like, hey, Bob's coming. And you go, oh, okay, I'm going to avoid Bob, or I'm not going to go to the party. So trigger warnings do take out that one element of a trigger, which is the surprise element. And that is helpful. And I do think we need to let people make the choice if they want to be triggered or re-experience it or what have you. But then the other side they were saying, which I thought was really interesting, is it reinforces the avoidance of triggers. And when you avoid it, there's no healing. People that are in the public eye should have a sensitivity to certain topics and understand that they're in a position of power and blah, blah, blah. But like even the jokes that I personally have about traumatic experiences, both that happen to women and in other aspects, I'm coming from a side of being scared of it or not understanding it or talking about the trauma of it. And it's a flat, you don't talk about it ever. This goes in a closet. We shut the door. We don't talk about it unless it's going to be in a serious way. And you're just like, that can't be the best way of handling all trauma. This idea of you never talk about it ever again. You avoid it at all costs. As opposed to if you realize that you see Reebok shoes and it sends you into a spiral, shouldn't there be some healing in the fact that you're never going to be able to control what type of shoes people wear? You're never going to be able to completely avoid that. Shouldn't there be some path to healing? And I get that that's a luxury statement because, you know, not everybody has the resources. And, you know, in America, we live in a country that doesn't, I mean, we don't pay for any health, let alone mental health. As somebody that does have a lot of triggers, as somebody that has friends that have had horrific things happen to them and still struggle with it, I think this ability to learn about your triggers, understand your triggers, be more sensitive to other people's triggers, but also do your best to heal them. I don't know. One of the things I read is that people often get triggered and they don't realize where they're being triggered and they have this reaction. The same way that like before you really understood about your misophonia, you know, somebody chewing gum and next thing you know, you're yelling at them and they're like, this doesn't seem right.
I don't have the balls to yell at anybody, but oh, in my head I am.
Yeah.
You watch out. Yeah. You talk about a lot of uncomfortable topics, but it's always from your perspective and it's always in a place of like, it's what you said. It's like, if you fear something, you talk about it to, I don't know if it's just to get rid of the fear or if it's just an honest perspective.
Take ownership of it.
Yeah. You know, but then there are just people who just bring these things up for shock value. And I think that's the difference.
Of course. And I think, but I think I'm also in a place where, okay, let's say you have a trigger warning. This person brings it up for a shock value. And then you understand that this person, this is how somebody uses this trigger, as opposed to, you know, there have been shows where it's all rape victims telling jokes about rape. And like, and it was taking ownership the same way that everybody's like all mad at Cardi B for that WAP song.
I missed it. I saw all the WAP words, but I missed it.
Yeah. Where like, they're basically being like, this is distasteful, all this sex talk and all this pussy talk. And you're like, yeah, that's like every rap song. Why can't she do it? Like you just kind of go
good.
like,
we've proven a point.
Yeah. You're just a little bit like, okay, well then that song's not for you. That's fine. But don't in any way start to think she's doing anything outside her genre, because that's like half the rap songs that I listen to have the same language and connotation. Like, I just don't understand.
But I mean, for you and for your jokes, I feel like the difference between you and a comedian just bringing it up for shock value, it's like, say you have a fear of spiders. And then the shock value comedians are going, it's a spider. Fuck you. Like in your face with the spider. And you're going, okay, let's look at the spider. Is it scary just to look at? Let's just look at it. And like holding it, like, why don't you hold the spider? Let's just try to take the fear away from the spider. And all the other people.
Or me even talking about my own fear of spiders.
Yes.
Like they're actually getting to a part where they're like, you can't analyze your own fear of spiders.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, wait, what?
What am I talking about up here?
And you just push things more and more in the closet. So I think to me, it's the same idea that you have a traumatic event. And a lot of my healing has been talking about it. To be able to say, as silly as it sounds, that I get really angry when I see men in khakis. I think it's wrong. I think nobody should wear them. I personally think they're not good looking on anybody, but also it makes me angry.
Down with the Gap.
I've always said down with Gap. But there are, like, I do legit have many triggers that I know come across as silly. Like, I've always said this, you know how like cinema movies, how we talked about in this episode, will have like that pixie girl, like that girl that's just kind of like fun and mysterious and she does weird stuff. I wear tutus only on Wednesdays, and like just like shit that you're
like that's her only personality trait.
Yeah, is that she's just kind of like pixie and weird and you can't really get a read on her.
Yeah.
That's somebody that's had childhood trauma. Flat out. Like that.
What, the actor or the person who wrote the character?
the person, like, not even the person that wrote the character, this belief when people are like odd or do weird stuff,
Oh yeah.
it's a coping mechanism. It's a thing that makes them comfortable. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. All I'm saying is these things don't come out of nowhere. I have quirky things I do. Some of them I'm not aware of, and some of them I have an awareness of, and I decide, is this a positive self-soothing thing, or is this a detrimental self-soothing thing? And, somebody could put their hair in a mohawk or dye their hair, and you could look at it and be like, oh, it's somebody that wasn't loved as a child. Or you could be like, that's somebody that, has decided that their expression through their hair is going to be outward. And as long as they kind of understand what they're doing with it or why they're doing with it, I don't think there's any problem with it. But like, I don't know, there's just some people that I feel like are almost like in the closet triggered.
Everything. My misophonia is probably caused by some childhood trauma. I don't remember. I did have an asthma attack and end up in hospital. Like, maybe it's my way of controlling breathing.
I do think it's all childhood trauma. I really do. I think all our habits are that.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because there's also people that had like pretty good upbringings that are like, well, why do I do this? And I was like, because no childhood is perfect.
Right.
Like, and it's completely out of your control. And there's always good, you know what I mean? Like, you could be the best parent ever, but then you get into a car crash that wasn't your fault, and your kids are now scared to drive or be in the passenger seat, or, that's not. I read all about like how to cope with trauma, and it just kind of like wasn't good enough. Have you ever like read where they're like, or not trauma, sorry, to deal with triggers, cope with triggers. We got down so many paths. But like I read it and I was angry afterwards because it just didn't feel. So it's like deep breathing, journal, exercise, which I feel like I do a lot of
this. Is this like wiki how to get over triggers?
It was like a whole article that I got a lot of stuff from, but
okay.
Like mindfulness meditation, calling for support, calling on support, however your support is. And then the last one was expressive writing. And I was like, how is that different from journaling? I don't understand. And then I was like, okay, maybe that's like what I do, which is like stand up or poetry or some kind of like singing, what have you.
Just like all the advice is always the same. And by the way, have you meditated at all? Because it's been about 3 weeks since we last talked. You didn't.
You want to talk about it?
That's all right. But try. I just feel like we're going to be superhuman as soon as we do the 21-day meditation, which I did again, by the way. The ads keep interrupting, but also there's no way it's even 5 minutes. They're so short, so I need to find something else.
I need to do it. I actually have a sticky on my desk that says to do it, and I have not done it.
You sent me so many stickers. I don't know what to do with stickers, but thank you for sending them.
Oh, you mean mine was a sticky note, but yeah, no, those are for like if we get more international fans.
No, the like I went to the hairdresser today, like the.
Oh yeah, those are adulting stickers that my friend bought me, and I find them so funny.
They're very fun. I don't know what to do with them because I'm an
you
adult.
Adulting. Yeah. I felt like it's funny because they're adulting stickers that basically are like, I got dressed today, or I didn't call, like I did my own laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't text my ex, or I ate a vegetable today. Like, it's just like very silly. But now re-looking at them, because I sent them to you and I sent a couple to my older sister who's like, I haven't showered in days. They're starting to be like quarantine stickers. Like, like I called my boss today, or like I showed up to work.
There's a really funny article in the New Yorker called "Help, I Work from Home," and it's a 911 phone call from somebody who works from home. It's like, sir, have you showered today? No, I don't even know where the shower is.
I don't know. I feel like this is like a bigger talk. I also think this is like, to me, triggers are something that like people kind of understand, but I think this generation is learning more about them and understanding more about them than past generations ever did.
Yeah, which is true for a lot of things. So like this generation's very lucky because they just have a lot more understanding of.
But they've also, I feel like they've
themselves.
pushed to understand it, as opposed to like, we're like, climate change, it's bad. And they're like, yeah, this is why it's bad. And these are the precautions we need to take. And this is what we have to do to fix it.
Like,
or we're all
fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, hairspray. I don't know. I don't think we want to hear about people's. I would be interested if you have a unique trigger like something that is like hard to explain, the same way that you've always struggled to explain misophonia. Interesting coping mechanisms for triggers. Like I think always finding interesting ways to heal. Like those are the things that I kind of want to hear from our fans.
I was just thinking about somebody. I crossed paths with somebody chewing gum today, and I had to go like this and not look at them, and I've come nowhere. Like I've not gotten better about dealing with it.
I don't think it's true at all, though. I mean, you have your noise canceling headphones. You're aware of it. You try to create space. Distancing has been great for you.
I need a sticker for like having coped with my trigger a little bit.
You know, I think it's a scam, but like on the subway, there'll be somebody that hands you tissues and like a little thing, and it'll be like,
yeah.
I'm deaf and da 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 da.
It's not a scam. I mean, go ahead.
I don't know. It always feels like a weird scam. Sorry if that's wrong or not. But I do sometimes feel like you need little cards that like, hi, you're chewing gum and I'm in a rage. Can you?
I know.
I have a disorder. We're gum
T-shirt that says misophonia or something. But like I want it to be so known.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain it anymore. But
yeah, instead of you having to be like, I have a disorder, you could just be like, I have misophonia. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. like take the gum, they put it out. They're like, are you okay? I'm so much better now. Thank you so much. Here's a mint. I'll replace it. Here's a mint. Here's something different. No? Okay.
Nothing.
Listerine strips? What are they allowed to do? They clearly want to freshen their breath. You can't take that away from
Listerine strips, fine. Just don't.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I think we did something.
Yeah. So you can write to us at 2nondoctors, 2non-doctors@gmail.com. We always love it when you
follow us on Instagram, TuneOnDRS.
Yeah, and all the other social medias, whatever you prefer.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.